Ethan Klein is in a lawsuit with Diddums, Kaceytron, and Frogan. Basically, they reacted to his content cop maliciously, intentionally, and outstated, saying that they were trying to siphon views from the H3 podcast. So the H3 podcast filed a lawsuit, and this is one of the first settlements. The settlement here with Kaceytron, and part of the settlement is that all funds that was raised from the lawsuit will go to Ethan Klein, as well as this public apology. So yeah, let's get right into it.
And by stating I take responsibility for infringing the content nuke. I want to begin by stating I take responsibility for infringing the content nuke. The lawsuit was not frivolous. When I said the lawsuit was frivolous and based on misogyny, it was to garner sympathy, protect my own reputation, and retaliate against the Kleins.
So I think this is the first big part here to say that the whole misogyny aspect is obviously just to try to get people to retaliate, try to get people in her camp for no reason, and that there's no basis, and that it's actually misogynistic. Throughout this whole response, she's been hitting the incels a lot. She's been hitting like misogynists a lot. And just none of it is true. Yeah, she's just making it up. It's just so happened that these three women maliciously, it just so happens that they're women, and it just so happens that they're the three people who maliciously decided to restream Ethan's content cop. It has nothing to do with their gender, obviously.
This lawsuit has given me a greater understanding of copyright protection, people's copyrights, and the importance of protecting copyrights in the online content creation community.
Yeah, I mean, I think she says this later, but Ethan Klein, you know, he's the OG copyright protection guy. He's the one who won against Matt Haas all those years ago and made sure that reactions were able to be free speech. The thing is that they did not do a reaction under the guise of free speech. So yeah, I mean, Ethan was a perfect person to dictate what free speech here is in this case, and, you know, because he did it before in the past.
It is important for the entire content creation community to respect the intellectual property rights of other creators, and I will adhere to the lessons I've learned throughout this process going forward. I also want to make clear that I did not receive any support, financial or otherwise, from Hassan Piker.
Okay, this is the this is the big one. So if you remember initially when the lawsuits are happening, Hassan Piker said that if he were to help fund these lawsuits and support them, which you know, he was seeming like he was insinuating that he was going to, that it would not be of public knowledge. Now, of course, you know, Moneybags Hassan sitting on his big socialist, freaking capitalist earnings. Champagne socialist Hassan, which I never thought I'd say a year ago, but you know, here we are. He just says bullshit basically. He says that he's going to support these creators. I think he like winked at the camera in that initial clip too, like, oh, it won't be in public, wink. But of course doesn't do anything. I'm curious to hear if that's different for Denims versus Frogan as well. But I kind of doubt it. I doubt Hassan has any money to give to any of these ladies because, I don't know, what from what we can see, he just likes to sit on it, really. And Ethan mentioned that in the recent podcast, too, that he asked Hassan personally what he does with all his money, and Hassan is just like, oh, I just sit on it. So yeah, awesome socialist, you know, using his money for the betterment of society. Awesome.
Hassan never even reached out to me privately to offer words of support.
He didn't even talk to her. That's crazy. The least you could do is just like, I don't know, send a DM like, yo, sorry, you're getting sued by the content nuke about me. Oh, my bad.
Speaking honestly, I found his indifference to my suffering hurtful, especially after he hinted he might help me behind the scenes.
Yeah, so that's what we were referring to earlier about the clip of Hassan hinting that he would help behind the scenes without anyone knowing. I don't know why these creators just didn't come out sooner though and state that. I guess it makes sense because the snark is going to eat them alive. We're going to see what happens with Kaceytron post here. How many H3 snarkers just eat her alive based off this apology. But obviously she's not going to go back on anything because she legally can't. She'll fuck herself if she does otherwise.
It felt like he wanted to receive credit from the public for helping me without providing any.
Yeah, socialist Hassan. He just, he's like lip service. It's all lip service.
As to the GoFundMe money, to the extent there are any remaining funds after I pay my attorney's fees, I have agreed to pay the remaining funds to the Kleins.
Awesome W. At the start of these lawsuits, Ethan was looking at all these donation pages for the lawsuits going to Denham's, Froggen, and Kaceytron. And he was just like, oh, yeah, that's my money. Awesome. And it did end up being his money. He was right. It's all just his money now.
The funds will not go to anyone else, including Denham's or Froggen, to defend their lawsuits. For the record, I have agreed to cooperate with the Kleins in their litigation against the H3 Snark mods for promoting my live stream.
So there was a H3 Snark post when the content nuke was going to be coming up. I don't think it was when it came up ahead of time, saying like, here are these Twitch streamers that you can watch the content nuke without having to give any money or any like views to Ethan Klein. And it showed Kaceytron, I think Sean the Black, as well as Froggen and Denham's, of course. Maybe some other creators too, but yeah, these H3 snarkers are kind of shaking in their boots now because they thought they had anonymity to be able to do and harass and create all these Zionist propaganda schemes against Ethan Klein, who is not a Zionist, who is very pro-Palestine and has stated it many times before. Probably more than these snarkers themselves. Oh, well, I guess definitely more than these snarkers themselves, like publicly, putting a face to this name and stating against Benjamin Netanyahu. So yeah, it's he kind of you reap what you sow, snarkers. Let me look at the camera for this. You reap what you sow, all right? You're gonna get what's fucking coming to you. So yeah, awesome to hear that she'll be working with Ethan Klein and the lawsuit against the snarkers. And we'll find out if there were any, messages between her and the snarkers to help prepare this restreaming to avoid views for Ethan Klein. So yeah, all very interesting.
To the extent that I am able, I will offer my support, including testifying under oath to everything I have just stated.
So yeah, that's huge. If this ever so this case obviously didn't go to civil court. It was settled beforehand in mediation, which is what you want with most lawsuits. The court is dirty on both sides. Oh my god, I can't pronounce anything today. Disposition, no, deposition happens, and then on both sides you get a lot of personal stuff leaked and put out there for like the entire public to see. And of course, I think in this case, Ethan doesn't have anything to hide. It's really going to be anyone on the other side that would have some frugalist stuff. Well, maybe not frugalist, but just, like messages. Like, think of the Fox case with Tucker Carlson, where he's just talking trash about Trump, like, behind the scenes. Kaceytron obviously didn't want this to go to court because of deposition, everything that would be revealed from behind the scenes. No one wants that, that's all private stuff. So I'm hoping that Denham's and Froggen are smart enough to not go to deposition. Nobody wants deposition. Deposition is ugly, guys. We don't want that for anybody. No matter how much we think like Denham's and Froggen messed up here, like I don't know, man. I just think it's better to mediate. It's better to settle ahead of time. Saves everybody money, saves everybody time.
To help their cause. I also want to take the opportunity to acknowledge other misconduct and bad behavior I have exhibited online. For example, weaponizing the death of Asmongold's mother was inexcusable.
So I think this is interesting. I think people are either going to take this two ways, right? I think the snarker community is going to be like, oh, Ethan Klein and Asmongold are in cahoots. He made her apologize for making fun of Asmongold's mom's death, telling Asmon that he killed her because he continued to provide her cigarettes. She was unwell, which is just like, what can you do? As someone who's addicted to cigarettes, and poor, and just that's the only thing they want from you. That's a close one. I don't know. It's like, that's a tough situation, but I don't think I would be in a place either where I'm just gonna be like, no, you can't have cigarettes, mom, you're sick. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't have any clips here to pull up exactly what she said, but she was just basically blaming Asmongold for his mom's death for that reason because of the cigarettes. Um, so yeah, I think snarkers are gonna take it that way that Ethan and Asmon are in cahoots. I really don't think they are. I think this is her like just giving a full honest apology and coming out with everything, and she just wanted to include this part as a part of it because it's been her actions over the last few months that led to everything. And yeah, I don't know. I wonder what Asmon's reaction is going to be to this because it's been a lot of hate coming from him and Tectone, which has been pretty prevalent recently considering they both kind of gone to the right wing.
I should know better because I have 3 disabled people that rely on me. Moving forward, I will do better. I also want to apologize to the crew of the H3 podcast, particularly AB and Olivia.
So this is really big because the unfortunate thing with the Ethan Klein drama is that everyone calling him a Zionist and everything, which again I will reiterate is not true. He's very pro-Palestine. The unfortunate thing is that it's gone to the crew members that work for the H3 podcast. So you have a bunch of streamers and just people online harassing them to the point where the one crew member she mentioned, Olivia, has taken an indefinite break from the H3 podcast, which is really sad. As a H3 fan, she's a beaming light. We love you, Olivia. Hey, girly. Love you. Miss you. And, she's just so empathetic and everything that when people come at her like this from a place of like emotion, that obviously it's going to affect her a lot because, she cares a lot about other people and their emotions. So it's really unfortunate, but I'm glad she's apologizing here for berating on them because, she was saying, oh, you continue to work under this Zionist and this misogynist and blah, blah, blah. And, earlier in the apology, she mentioned that the whole misogyny angle was bullshit.
I apologize for calling them cowards for not quitting their jobs. That was a shameful attack on 2 people who deeply care about Palestine and Palestinian people.
Yeah, I mean, Olivia has stood up a lot for Palestinian people in the podcast, Alive and everything, and AB himself has even run a donation for Palestine as well. That was huge. I can't remember how much it raised, but I think it was a really, really substantial amount, like maybe 300K or something, but I don't know. I don't want to put anything out there that's not 100% true. But it was a substantial amount.
AB, along with his wife Lena, have done more than I have ever done for the Palestinian people, including raising over $100,000 in charity.
Okay, it was over 100,000, not 300K. I was a little overzealous there, but I mean that's awesome. That is incredible.
I recognize that they have actually made Palestinian lives better, and my online antagonism and trolling has not.
This is huge to say.
I apologize to Ethan and Gila personally. I have said extremely mean and cruel things about both of them, particularly my misogynistic attacks against Gila.
Yeah, so that was really disgusting. She would just continue to call like Hila ugly and then call Ethan the misogynist, which was kind of ironic.
That never should have been said. I also want to acknowledge the pervasive problem of anti-Semitism in leftist spaces.
Yeah, so I do want to say the problem of anti-Semitism in leftist spaces, this is a really like super, super online thing. I think most leftists aren't racist, like people on the ground. I would like to imagine that, they're not actually racist against Jewish people and they don't blame Jewish people as a whole for what's happening in Israel. Unfortunately, though, on the, like, I don't even know what I would call it, like the online, like, what would we say, like online addicted left, we do see a lot of stuff that bleeds into anti-Semitism. It feels like Candace Owens, like, the online far right, like Candace Owens, these kind of people, Nick Fuentes, and like the online left, on both spaces. These are like the far left, far right, and not only far left, far right, but the far left, far right online, which, kind of creates a more hyper environment for bullshit and bigotism to happen because a lot of people are anonymous and feel emboldened by the people who aren't anonymous that repeat the other things and talking points that are online. but yeah, anyways, it feels like Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens, and like Hassan have been like kind of dapping each other up on some of these talking points about Jewish people and like Jewish influence. But I think if you start to believe any of these things, you should really just look back on World War II and just see how common these talking points are and what it leads to. I think that's the simplest way to put it, is that these talking points have been around for a while. They've never been true. Jews have always been a scapegoat, just as any class gets scapegoated. Right now in our current political environment, trans people are often the scapegoat of the right. So yeah, we can see that again and again. It's the same sort of tactics. And let's not repeat history. Basically, just don't be racist towards any race of people or nationality or ethnicity, anything. There's no reason to make huge generalizations over any group.
It should concern all of us. I condemn it and will not participate in it. To that end, I wish the Kleins success in enforcing TED Entertainment's copyright and protecting the legal rights of online content creators.
All right, well, yeah, that's it. Excited to see what happens in the future, and where this leads us.